Wow, that was so the new spiritual music.
I
Welcome
know,
to
I was listening to it and I was like, I feel like this changed.
Yeah, it definitely changed. I was like, this welcome to the spiritual engage.
Well, I don't think it would be our last engage without a few last minute changes and
Yeah,
surprises. So
for sure. Yeah, so I mean, one thing to let the audience know, this is our actual last channel engage. We've been doing it for almost 3.5 years now, and we just, ultimately felt like it was the right time to move on from it. It's been an incredible resource for MSPs exploring new vendors. We get emails all the time and we see MSPs at events, and they're like, "That's the first time I've ever heard of that vendor. Thank you for like introducing us." So it really served one of its main purposes, which was to give every vendor a voice in the channel, an equal voice, right? Level playing field, everybody getting 7 minutes on a main stage, and allowing MSPs to hear from vendors that they don't always get to hear from at events. And so, yeah, it's been that part of the journey is going to end today, but not channel programs by any means.
no.
We
And
started this during COVID, and
yeah.
you know,
I
so
do think, so stay tuned because I do think in one of the breaks we will talk about how you can still be involved in some initiatives that get you in front of new vendors, and how you can learn about new products. So for our regulars, you've probably already participated in a few of these initiatives, but for some of our newcomers, which I'm sure there will be some today, we'll explain how you can still get involved and learn about those new products and solutions.
Yep. And if you happen to be joining us for the first time, just kind of a little bit of a lay of the land. We've got each vendor will have 7 minutes to really, the idea of it is to do a pitch, but to really get down to the things that are most important to MSPs. And after each presentation, we'll put up a poll with 6 questions that you're able to fill out anonymously. And you're only give up your information if you choose to. So you'll have that option. I think it's question 6 in a variety of different capacities. So again, you're in control of this entire experience today. I think, let's see, in the moderator chat, you will only be chatting with our producers backstage. Vendors cannot see your chat, and public chat is for MSPs only. And the other thing that is for MSPs only are the polls as well. So if you happen to be a vendor that's just kind of listening to your peers, you will not see those polls come up during that time. And you'll have about 2.5 minutes in between segments where Caitlin and I'll do some light banter, and you'll have 2.5 minutes to fill out those polls. And then Caitlin, I believe we're doing a gift card as well for our last hurrah.
Yeah, so make sure that you are keeping an eye on the screen, paying attention, because we are giving away a $15 gift card if you participate in all the polls. And there will be a poll question at the end as to whether or not you'd like to claim that. So make sure you answer that question as well. Yeah, I think that's everything, right?
Why don't you let them know about the end of, so once everything ends, the different breakout rooms.
So after the entire event closes, you'll see another screen pop up with the vendors' breakout links. We do encourage everybody in the audience to go to the vendors, talk to them after their presentations. Some of them have some great incentives that we'll talk about throughout the event to get you there. So make sure that you are engaging with them post-event. Those breakout rooms will be available for about 30 to 45 minutes. So you can pop in and out of as many as you would like. So definitely encouraged to visit more than one vendor as well.
Yeah. All right. I see no reason to not just kick things off. You want to do the first introduction?
Yeah. So first up, join me in welcoming Michael Montgomery, who's the sales engineer at ConnectWise.
Thanks for having me on, Caitlin. I appreciate it.
All right. Your time starts now, Michael.
All right. So, as Caitlin said, I'm a sales engineer at ConnectWise for the RMM and ASIO platform products. Today, I'll be taking through a light tour of the products and hopefully seeing you joining me in the room afterwards to discuss them deeper. Today's agenda, we're just going to go over the architecture, device management, network monitoring and management, the monitoring of your endpoints, patching, scripting, remote control, and even reporting at the end. Now, our platform is a modern, scalable, and secure cloud-based platform purpose-built for MSPs. It's leveraging centralized data and common services, including ticketing, contracts, and alerting, supported by a generative AI engine and orchestration layer to deliver hyper-automation and unparalleled productivity for MSPs. We layer our RMM product on top of that so you can easily manage those endpoint devices that you need to manage on your day-to-day activities. Now, whether it be Windows PCs, Macs, servers, or maybe some of those agentless devices that you're trying to reach out to, things like your switches, firewalls, routers, printers, we've got a simple solution that can go out and manage them, along with alerting, monitoring, and patching included. Now, our network monitoring management's where you're going to pick up on those devices that don't have agents. So if you're trying to track those things like the wireless access points, the switches, the routers, the things of that nature, you're going to be able to easily turn any of those agents into a probe and collect that detail. We're going to give you a topology map. And according to the level of service that you're using, you can go all the way from simple up-down alerting to doing things like NetFlow, syslogs, and, geocaching. Built into our RMM product is our patching and compliance and alerting and monitoring. And in alerting and monitoring, we use intelligent alerting. And what that means for you is built off of our intelligent monitoring, we're tracking approximately over 1,500 plus conditions out there. Over the years, we've monitored all the endpoints and desktops that we've monitored and collected that data and turned it into the most often needed alerts for you. Those alerts will come in. Our intelligent alerting system will look at it and determine, is it something we can apply the pre-built automation in and resolve for your team? And if we can't, we'll send it to the right team for that resolution. Now, the really great part about this is as that process continues, we're taking the feedback from the machine learning information collection off of that, and we're feeding it back into the platform itself and improving that monitoring condition, making them more efficient and creating less noise for your team. Now, with the patching, everybody enjoys patch testing. We also do patch testing for you to help alleviate some of that grind that you suffer when you're going out there trying to decide, is it safe, is it not safe to push to the environment? Our team is able to extensively test different patching, bring in on Patch Tuesday, work through the process. And after 7 days of in-depth testing and analysis, we're going to create those monthly roll-up reports for you, provide the information, and put it into platform, making it easy for your team to decide if this is something you want to push out to those endpoints to keep them safe, secure, and compliant. Now, scripting is the other process that we can do through the platform itself. Based off of this, we can build either PowerShell, Bash, or Command. We don't have a proprietary language that you have to learn to work in here. Your team can easily come in here already trained and simply build what they need. Now, these tasks can be anything from a script, a function, or process that you've built out, whether it's an application installer or a PowerShell script looking for value. We can build those out and schedule those automations. They can also be leveraged from our monitoring and alerting solution as automatic resolutions. On top of being able to do all that work, through the platform, on demand as needed on the scripting and that. We've also got our award-winning Screen Connect remote tool. What this does is allow your technicians to easily join into a device, whether it has multiple monitors, single monitor. Maybe you want to join in on a hosted session that somebody's on board and you're trying to assist them. Maybe you're just trying to get in as the admin and do some work on the machine. We've got a lot of tools embedded in here where you can use your own tools on the device. You can, send things back and forth. You can work on them, take screenshots, record video, chat with the end user. A lot of powerful tools in our remote tool to access and use. We also have additional features on our Screen Connect product, things like Backstage, where we can do non-disruptive back-end work. We can also do ad hoc support sessions for people that don't have agents on their devices that need that immediate support. We can do that on many different devices, all the way from Windows and Macs to Android and even iOS. The idea is to quickly be able to give your technicians the power to go out and join those devices and do those break-fix models. Now, the idea is we've got a great platform. We get the agents out there. We're doing all that alerting, monitoring, patching, security, compliance. We're able to get in and do the break fix we need to do and build the automation to do it for us from that point forward. Once we've done all this work, we've got to be able to pull that data together. And we give you Break Gauge for reporting, data analysis, and dashboarding. We give you a bunch of great dashboards in the platform itself, but maybe there's some use case specific you need to build. You can come out and build those data analytic dashboards to see the exact information you're looking for across the platform. You can also take that very same data from the agents coming in here and build those reports that you need to send to the people that need the reports. Those can even be automated. So we're syncing that data constantly into these data sets. You're pulling it into the dashboards and reports, and you're seeing your data when you need it. So I appreciate you coming today, and I hope to see you in my breakout session with deeper questions and information out there. But what RMM does is it provides you a great product to get out there and watch all of those devices that your clients have and be able to monitor the activity on those endpoints, monitor the health of the endpoints, the security on them endpoints, and keep them safe for your clients. If you have any further questions, please join the link for me. Come on in, ask me some questions. I look forward to seeing you.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. We appreciate it. All right, Caitlin will be joining me back up here in a second.
Hi.
All righty. All right, so the polls will be going up, and again, about 2 minutes and 30 seconds to fill those out. Certainly the MSPs, the vendors appreciate the direct feedback. It is anonymized, as I mentioned earlier, and if you want to be eligible for the gift cards at the end, you do have to fill out all the polls. I should mention right now, actually just happened to ConnectWise is actually doing a thing with us right now. Normally you get, as many of you know, you get $15 gift cards for product reviews, which we strongly encourage for any vendor you're working with. Right now, ConnectWise is actually doing an additional $10 on top of that. So there's a $25. So if you happen to be a ConnectWise user, after this, not during, after, please leave some reviews for whatever various products you use within ConnectWise, and you get $25 gift cards. So pretty sweet.
That's insane.
Yeah.
You can make some serious money if you're using their entire suite of solutions there.
Shh, don't tell them they can do all the reviews. Yeah. So I guess one thing we wanted to mention, and I think Claudia backstage will put the link in the platform, or excuse me, in the chat. On the 19th of next week, Kevin and myself, Kevin Lancaster, my business partner, are going to be going live on LinkedIn to announce kind of the next evolution of Channel Program and where we're headed. There's some rebranding within our current tool, My IT Spend, that we're going to share, and really some amazing roadmap where we're going with the product. So we'd strongly encourage you to join us live on LinkedIn so you can be the first to hear about it and take advantage of all the new things. And it's a natural evolution of everything we've been building over the last couple of years. So we'd be delighted to have you all attend that. And Caitlin,
I'm really excited about
been here
it.
Since we were talking about this. Outside of the first 2 months, I think you've been here with us this whole journey. So
yeah, so I started, I think, 2 days before the first Engage of 2022, January.
yeah.
Eric and I were backstage. And yeah, it's been a pretty wild ride watching all of these companies come through, and some of them, watching them evolve and gain partners through our platform, seeing the partners love their solutions in our platform, watching them get funding, seeing them out at events. It's been pretty cool to see how this initiative that you guys started really helped a lot of those companies get a voice in the channel. So
yeah, and to be clear, everything is continuing, just not engaged, because we sound like we're saying. But
sorry.
No, but what's interesting is, Engage is what started the whole journey. That is what we launched with, and I put together some stats later to share with everybody from the last couple of years. All right, but let's keep it rolling because the polls are down now.
Okay, so our next vendor pitching is Cloud Radial. Ricky Cicchini, the VP of Product there. We will let you have at her.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, hey, everybody. It's Ricky Cicchini, the VP of Product at Cloud Radial, and I'm here to talk about Cloud Radial as a whole, trying to come up with a summary of exactly what we do to help you kind of wrap your head around it. If you've never heard about us, the easiest way to describe it is that we're here to help MSPs, really anybody who's in IT, connect better with their clients. And we're a vendor that's been around for a little bit now. I think it's been around 6 years, and it's been a really great journey. Cloud Radial used to be synonymous with just a client portal. It's kind of expanded. I'll talk a little bit about that. But as far as how we can offer value to you guys, it's about offering some better engagement touch points on everywhere you do engage with the client. So first of all, How and where do you touch your clients? Touch points, though, not anything weird, right? So you've got to think about the way that MSPs engage with clients. You've got so many different tools that do so many different technical things, right? You've got your RMMs, your PSAs, your backup tools, security, you name it. That's really important. But to an average end user, how do you actually go about proving the value, showing what you do, helping them understand? So Cloud Radial as a platform, as kind of a multi-product platform, was kind of built to answer those questions. So if you look into Cloud Radial at all, you're going to run into probably a CSA, which is kind of our mirror to the PSA, and that is intended to be a client portal, yes, but also kind of a management console for how you can manage client relationships. So in those touch points, there's a lot of ways you can improve the benefit or improve the way you work with clients, and that does have pretty good benefits, right? So we know that if you're getting them from the very beginning and you're offering them a clear-cut way to show them what you're doing for them, right? Having them go to one portal to get access to all that is going to give them a better view for sales, for example, so you can have better prospecting, right? For ticketing, it's super important too, because having a centralized location where you can actually launch stuff off. Again, your major PSAs are really, really good at handling ticketing on your end of stuff. But for the front end, right, we want to offer something that is really easy for an average person to get in there. So we're talking about forms, we're talking about automations. I'll show a little bit of that in a second. Again, transparency and availability. A lot of great tools out here, even on this, on the channel program here, but like getting that stuff to an average end user is a lot, right? So how do you simplify that access and that understanding in one place? Again, centralizing it down, and then even going as far as to take QBRs and whatnot and making sure that everybody can get to that data in one single place. So having that walkthrough portal example. So I'll kind of zip through these because there's a lot of different features to it, but I want to stay focused on how this can help an MSP tangibly with their client touch points. So again, you're going to get a white label client portal to make sure that it looks good and people are reminded that they're working with you, what that means, and again, staying top of mind and current as you go about having a relationship with your clients. To engage them better than just like a typical ticketing portal, we want to go beyond that. So we offer stuff that's like, again, LMS and training is a good one, getting people to kind of build their habits in the portal, having a service catalog. So it's more so than just trouble tickets, but like, do you have an answer for if somebody wants to purchase a new service, if somebody wants to see what services they have purchased, if somebody wants to upgrade, if somebody wants to buy hardware, having that in one single place is super, super effective, right? So again, there's more depth to all this stuff. It's something that if you're interested in something like Cloud Radial and you've been wanting to get into better client management, definitely check these out because we can go through the specifics of how, you know, dynamic forms work in ticketing or automations and so on and so forth. But the gist is that, let's get to the visuals. You want to be able to show them what you got, right? So if you are a client, right, imagine you're a client of your own MSP, how do they really get to see what you do for them? Well, again, putting a client-facing interface in front of them that does the right stuff is super helpful. So Cloud Radial is going to come in, hook you up with a portal, let you customize it with the features that you want. Again, you may want a ticketing portal, you may want a QBR portal, you may want all-in-one, giving them something visual that, again, you can take into sales prospecting, right? That's kind of the first part of engaging with a customer and helping them understand the value you bring to the table, which ultimately will get you a stickier customer, right? That will actually understand how to work with you better in the future. But more specifically, again, one of the more popular features is onboarding, offboarding forms. So if you're trying to approach this client experience, if you've always wanted to get into it, but you're not super sure where to start, I always like to show this and talk about it. Really easy way to get people to understand is saying, hey, this is where you can add, remove users, right? So having a form aspect to the portal that opens up everything else is also very easy for clients to understand. It's very beneficial for MSPs because they can start to organize the way that they take those new users, take those new leavers. And again, this is going to be sending stuff to your PSAs, to your connected system. So this does not replace any of your existing systems. Think of it as a nice shiny overlay, like a UI on top of all the stuff that you do have, right? It's kind of intended as a platform to ingest as much information as possible and display it in a way that makes sense. So if you've got kind of the basics, you're able to show them what you got some onboard, offboard forms, you've got some forms in general. So you're starting to get structured data from your clients. In theory, you're also able to work better with them. So deliver faster service. You can get to more interesting things, right? So let's say facilitating meetings, right? This is an example of an integration with one of our vendors. We integrate with a lot of them, but like, you know, time zest data, for example, being pushed in there feels very organic. It doesn't feel like you're kind of putting a bunch of stuff together. So again, you're leveraging your full tool stack to be the best client experience possible. Now, again, as we go further down, you're able to integrate even other reporting tools and able to kind of give that top level view from what you're doing really good at, what the client could be doing better at, and so on and so forth. So again, in the same portal that they do their day-to-day stuff, the kind of more point of contact, higher admin level people are able to get in there and understand where you want to take them in the future. And that can eventually even lead you down to like QBRs. So there's like a planner aspect of it. Now, there's a lot of stuff in here, so it's a lot of stuff to ingest right off of a 7-minute pitch. So I definitely encourage you guys to take a look within a demo. We do have a little bit of a lighter product, so a lot of MSPs, as they look forward to this, they look to get into maybe some of the earlier stuff I talked about, like the ticketing stuff is a good start. There's a lighter version of that CSA product called Portal 365 that does very similar. But in either case, whether you're looking for a full suite solution or you want something a little bit lighter, definitely take a look at Cloud Radial. Have a nice demo for you here. You can scan the QR code or visit us at cloudradial.com/demo, and we'll show you more of the features and how it all works together to make your client touch points really shine. So thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Ricky.
Of course.
Yep. All right. So the polls shall be going up shortly.
Yep.
And well, Caitlin, I think you're going to be talking more probably this segment, because I think we're going to be talking about some of your channel newsletter, or just kind of giving a little vibe on what you're. I know it's an evolving thing.
It's evolving. Yeah, we sent our first one out last month. So I think just like over 2 weeks ago. And it was well received. So we are taking it, we're adapting it. We want to make sure that it's a newsletter that MSPs want to open every month. So a lot of it is revolving around thought leadership in terms of like how to just make your business better, stats from the platform, which I find the audience is always interested in hearing about. We're seeing a lot of trends with Navistack, stack charts, and reviews, especially this next month will be kind of highlighting the cybersecurity trends we've been seeing since people have been building out their stacks. We will quickly highlight where we may be in the next little while, especially as it relates to our hosted dinners. So those in the area can take advantage of participating in those. And then just any kind of like fun, quick resources I come across on a month-to-month basis will be included. So I do believe marketing is working on getting an actual landing page set up for that right now. But if you are in our database, which if you're here, you are, keep an eye on your inbox, because we are going to send the next one out, I think, either next week or the following week. So just waiting for that sign off, and then it'll be sent to the MSPs.
Yeah. And I guess this will be a little teaser. I know one of the stats that you're sharing is that 30% of a MSP stack now is cybersecurity, which is, I mean, you know, I can imagine owners going back 10, 15 years, not even imagining that it would be that big of their stack. And another stack I do share at the various dinners we've been doing is that I don't know if you all realize it's probably due to some degree, but 90% of your stack is exactly the same. Not the same products, but the same category of products. And so again, when you're looking at how to differentiate yourself, that's why it's important to be on these types of things, because you get to hear from the next wave of vendors, as well as where vendors are going in the space. One example, and I know we'll move on to the next speaker here, is, you know, our original journey, Kevin and I, with ID Agent. Dark web monitoring was not a thing in 2017, not in a single stack of MSPs. Yet now it's the 23rd most added product and number 7 on the cybersecurity stack.
Yeah.
Which is nuts, you know, just 7 years ago. So
well, and I think too, just like another little teaser for that announcement next week is we are launching a rebrand for something that can really differentiate MSPs and their businesses. So I think that's something everybody in the audience should register for to attend, for sure.
Yep. All right, let's keep it rolling.
All right. It is my pleasure to announce this third presenter, one of my favorite people in the channel. I've known him for years and years. But it is Jason Price, the Channel Development Manager at Kaseya.
Jason, we're not hearing your audio. I think you're on mute.
There it goes.
All right, and I won't count that against you. So,
all right. Well, my 11 seconds back.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man.
So thank you guys. Jason Price, Senior Channel Development Manager at Kaseya. Today, you know, just want to first start off with this slide right here. It's probably one of the more familiar slides that you've seen if you've gone to any event and we've done a presentation. And I just love it, right? Because we're able to kind of show what you guys as MSPs are going through on a daily basis, whether you're jumping from one, platform to another, you're doing a ticket, you're going into, your dark web monitoring, you're paying bills, you're interacting with all these different vendors. And, typically that's something that is cumbersome. It takes just a lot of time, effort, energy. And so what we want to start thinking about is, what is it to really take advantage of being on a single platform? And I think the best way to kind of paint that picture is to look at this right here, right? When I purchased my house, and I needed to hang a TV, I'd go to the store and I'd buy a drill. If I needed to fix my deck, I went out and bought a power saw. And, I just went by price, right? I didn't think anything, of it in terms of, sticking with the same brand. I just went with whatever is cheaper. But when you think about it, the better route for me to have gone, and I've gone down this route now, is just pretty much standardized, right? And so instead of having, Ryobi, Makita, Milwaukee, I can now have just Milwaukee, right? And the benefits are as follow, right? You can use the same charger, right? The same batteries, right? You have the same level of customer service, right? You have the same look, the feel, right? It just makes your experience much better and more efficient by having just a single platform. And we're able to do it all right? We like to call our platform IT Complete, which just allows you to do more with less. IT Complete is complete, it's integrated, it's intelligent, it's affordable, right? And so it really helps you when we start thinking about, what is important to you, right? So I know nobody is a not-for-profit MSP, right? I don't think that even exists, right? You guys are all looking to maximize your profitability, right? The things that erode that are going to be your costs, your customizations, inefficiencies, and risk, right? And with Kaseya, the goal is to be able to help you, right? By showing you, yes, you can get everything you need and it be affordable. It can be a simplified experience, AI automated, and, delivering on the partnership that we have, right? So the big question is, okay, where exactly do I start, right? Do I start with the drill? Do I start with the power hammer? Where do I begin? And so we've tried to make it easier for you guys by having just a singular subscription that we now offer, which is called Kaseya 365. So initially, Kaseya 365 was just one subscription, but what we've done with the success of it is actually broken off, and we have multiple layers of Kaseya 365 in terms of a subscription. We have Kaseya 365 Endpoint, and Kaseya 365 Endpoint is everything you need to manage, secure, and back up your endpoints. And then we also have Kaseya 365 User, which is everything you need to prevent, respond, recover from user threats. So on the Kaseya 365 Endpoint, right, this subscription gives you RMM, patch management, endpoint detection and response, gives you antivirus, ransomware detection, endpoint backup, as well as managed detection and response. And in terms of the Kaseya 365, you get anti-phishing, user awareness training, dark webs monitoring, automatic SaaS account lookup, Microsoft 365 or Google Workplace backup. All of those things come in those respective subscriptions. And when we start taking a look at it, why it's valuable, right? One is that the cost savings that you're going to get from it. On average, you're saving about $12 per endpoint, right? So if you look at, all those things I just listed, right? The RMM, the AV, this and the other, at the end of the day, you're typically paying about between $15 and $18 for all of those items. And so with Kaseya 365 Endpoint, for example, you could be at $5 and as low as $5.75 for all of those things combined, right? And that is instant savings, right? It is money in the bank. You're saving on average $1,200 per month for every 100 endpoints, right? And it's not about lowering the price or, a race to the bottom, right? This right here is instant money that can be used for marketing. It can be used for, retention, bonuses, making sure that your staff is happy, investing in new, solutions that are on the horizon, right? That savings is real dollars. This also allows you to eliminate all the like customizations you have to do, right? That, this customer needs this customer needs that. No, now you can standardize, right? And standardization is where you're going to gain tons of efficiencies. It's AI automated. So we have, different flavors of, our Cooper Insights or Cooper AI. So you have Cooper Insights, Cooper Bots, and Cooper Pilot, which all work together to once again allow you to gain many efficiencies. And then you're supported, right? Through Kaseya, we're here to work with you. We're here to make sure that, we are your partner, and we are, figuring out how we can continue to help and move you forward to achieve that profit that we talked about. So one of the big things I often hear is, platform, seems good in theory, but I'm so scared to put all my eggs in one basket. And I get it, right? But the last time I checked, right, you buy eggs in a basket, right? And so, it's reasonable to believe that if you were to buy just a single egg here and a single egg there, right, that actually makes it more susceptible to breaking, to losing it, whatever the case may be. But you want all your eggs in one basket, especially these days, when that can be $12 for a dozen, right? And so I liken it to when we look at where we were 10 and 15 and 20 years ago, where we had a pager, right? We had a MP3 player, we had a GPS, we had a separate camera. Right now, all of those different things we used to carry around is now in a single package, right? An iPhone, right? And so that's what I want you guys to think about, right? We're not losing by putting everything together. We're actually gaining more efficiencies, right? And we're gaining more profitability, right? So having one platform, once again, complete, automated, priced right, really aggressive, is going to allow you to, once again, maximize on your profitability. So thank you. I look forward to speaking to you guys in my breakout. And answer any sort of questions you guys may have.
Excellent, Jason. Thank you. We'll see you on the road. All right. So polls will be going up. Yeah. I do have to say that one slide, and I've seen that slide at attending like Kaseya Connects in the past. It is a really good slide. The bounce around. I was just trying to think. I was like, I don't even know how. I wouldn't even know how to do that in Canva. Like it would take me forever to figure out how you actually do that. Yeah.
Especially when they acquired Datto, they got one of the best graphic design teams around.
No, I know, but I think it's this guy Corey O'Donnell he's just really good at those things.
Yeah.
But all right, so we have topics every time we come in here. This one, I like replaced
personal topic for you.
I went personal with it, so
I love it
because I'm going to be going on vacation, so I figured we could have a conversation about it. So next week or next Thursday, I'm going to be going to Japan for the very first time with my wife. It's definitely a bucket list type of trip. So I'm super excited. I'm going to be going to Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka with a day trip to Mount Fuji. And I am taking the bullet train, so that's going to be pretty exciting. So I guess one thing I would say to the audience, if you have any quick recommendations, feel free to post them if you've been to Japan.
I have this burning question that I've been saving for this topic is,
oh, really?
How are you looking forward to the food there?
That is definitely going to be a struggle. So for those who don't know me, I'm a meat and potatoes type guy. I do not like seafood in general. And so obviously that's definitely something they're known for. They have good meat there with the Wagyu and whatnot. But yeah, it's going to be the biggest struggle because my wife on big trips like this, she always likes to go to like one Michelin star restaurant, and it's like one of those that's like a tasting type menu. And it's going to be very interesting. So I pride myself on always trying each dish, but she usually benefits because I usually pass to her after that.
She's eating for two at those places.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, who has been to Japan now a few times, she is also very much like you, meat and potatoes, and she was blown away by some of the stuff that she tried. She never thought that she would like it, but she ended up liking it. And the desserts there are phenomenal. And I know you are a dessert person, so I think you are going to enjoy it either way.
Yeah. Even like matcha tea, which is like huge over there. And we're doing a ceremony, like full get up and everything.
Yeah.
That's even drinking. That's going to be a struggle for me. So
I did not like matcha tea when I first tried it, and now I'm absolutely obsessed with it.
yeah.
Yeah. So give it a chance. I think you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think are you guys walking up Mount Fuji? No, it takes forever, right?
I don't even know if that's a thing that you do.
Oh, I thought you could like hike up to it.
I mean, I think you can hike around. Maybe you can hike around it. I don't know. We're not hiking around. No, I guess is the short answer. If you can, we're not hiking up it. But yeah, we just don't have enough time to do like a major hike there. So
fair enough. Yeah, well, you'll have to make sure to share all of the photos on social media. That's the only way I can track your vacation. I have to live vicariously through you. My Japan trip, I think, will probably be pushed out till next year. Now, I was hoping to get this year, but yeah. Well, you see that, I guess you are going, there's possibly the cherry blossoms there too, right?
No, it's like, I mean, you can never time it perfectly, but it should be like within the window. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're
awesome.
excited.
I'm so excited for you guys.
Thank you. And sorry for making everybody listen to my cool vacation news. Sorry.
Everybody can have FOMO while we're all working away to build our businesses while you're gone.
Exactly. All right. Want to keep things going here?
Yeah. So our next presenter is with Enable. He's the principal sales executive. I'd like to welcome Peter Chrysonis. Hopefully I didn't.
Chrysonis, pretty close.
I'm sorry.
Closer than most.
There's always one.
Closer than most, I'd say.
All right, take it away, Peter.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Caitlin, and thanks for having me. So just to introduce myself, guys, my name is Pete Chrysonis, Principal Sales Executive here at Enable around our security platform. More of a sales engineer these days, but I still support our security offerings here at Enable, primarily our managed detection and response offering, which I know is a very popular product category in today's environment. I'll get into why that is and what specifically our offering is, because I know there's a lot of confusion when you hear the term MDR. It's just kind of lumped in there with what I like to call the alphabet soup of security products. But first, what I'd like to say, where we've gotten into that category, especially over the past year or so, has been a number of different reasons. Conversations that I'm having with folks on a day-to-day basis, these are some of the challenges that they're facing today. So the increasing amount of cyber threats, not only the volume, I'm sure you guys see these statistics all the time, and I feel like year over year, the ransomware attack happens every 12 seconds and 10 seconds and 7 seconds. But what I think gets underreported too is the sophistication of these attacks. And we actually just hosted a webinar on one of these more advanced attack methods, MFA bypassing or man-in-the-middle attacks, living off the land. That type of sophistication is, I think, scaring a lot of people today, and rightfully so. Conditional access policies and having which I'll get into, a multi-layered security strategy. There's a lot of different ways people are accessing the network, and it's causing a lot of concern out there. And I'm going to go into a little bit more about how MDR specifically addresses that. But the quality and speed of these offerings that MSPs are bringing to their customers, whether it be staffing a SOC team to be a 24/7 service, if at all possible, just getting the people for that is challenging enough due to the talent shortage out there. I've been really talking about this for years. It doesn't seem like it has improved much, especially in this tight labor market that we're in today. But the unemployment rate for IT folks is in the negatives. And, I personally don't see that changing anytime soon with the level of sophistication, needed to manage this, and essentially the arms race that MSPs are in right now to have a 24/7 service to their customers. And why is that? Increasing compliance demands, vendor questionnaires. We're seeing more pressure on MSPs to be able to provide specific services or specific products. And then insurance. I mean, insurance now is requiring at least an EDR level of endpoint protection to customers. Just antivirus is not enough. And now we're seeing pressure for MDR come in the form of log retention. How long are you holding on to event logs for? Are you holding on to sys logs? So specifically event logs from the firewall. And then also too, are you holding on to these, but then addressing any type of threat 24/7, 365. Most MSPs, that's not the case. So they're looking to see how they can outsource that. And that's where MDR comes in. Another side of that, in terms of a multi-layered security strategy, I'm sure you guys hear this all the time, defense in depth. And all the different tools that you need to address those different layers, as you can see here. So email security, dark web monitoring, password management, endpoint security, your patching, all that, living in their own islands of security, that can be a lot to manage. And although those products, there is some overlap into what your security tools are addressing, you don't want a single point of failure, and really in anything in terms of security. But how can you manage all these different security tools on a day-to-day basis, not to mention keep up with your logs of your Windows machines and your firewalls, and then retain those logs? Just having a syslog server on your site, to bring in all of those logs, I would even say addresses half the battle there. It's then analyzing those logs, correlating those logs, and seeing if there is an active threat going on. And that's really where MDR comes into play. It's an overarching security service, a security platform, I'd say, as a service. And if I can go back to the alphabet soup, it's a security operations center, or SOC, with a security incident and event management tool, SIM, with SOAR functionality, or security orchestrated and automated response. What I mean by that on the SIM side of things is deployment is very simple. You can be up and running within 60 or so minutes. We collect information one of 3 different ways: an agent on a device, and then a syslog collector, or a virtual collector sitting behind the firewall to ingest information of all those different layers that I was mentioning before. And then from there, our team is actually ingesting all of that information, or the platform, I should say. Our team is then analyzing all of that information to do correlation, and what we like to call user entity and behavior analytics. So is this person logging in from a certain period of time? Take MFA bypassing, for example. Is someone logging into their 365 account really who they say they are? They've logged in from a location we've never seen before. If that looks suspicious enough, we're actually able to disable that account for you. So this truly is a 24/7, 365 service. Again, putting it into a specific category, we like to say MDR, which again, you talk with other people out there what MDR really means. For us, it is a true managed detection and response and remediation service that's 24/7, 365, that has in-depth telemetry ingestion, but also reporting based off that too. And it's just a quick look at what that reporting looks like on that type of information that we're pulling in: comprehensive executive summary reports, dark web monitoring, all of that. I look forward to talking with everyone more in a breakout session. If you want to see a quick demo of the platform, discuss a little bit more about MDR, and talk a bit more about what your acronyms that you're using today in your alphabet soup. Thanks, everyone, and join the breakout session for a chance to win a $150 gift card.
Excellent. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good reminder at the very end, after we say our goodbyes, you will, your screen will basically change in the snap of a finger, and you'll have an opportunity to go into as many breakouts as you'd want to, really get some of your questions answered, and again, in some cases, actually see the product in use. So
yeah, and just quickly, since we are in the middle of the event, ConnectWise will be giving away 4 $25 gift cards to some people that join the breakout room. Enable, like you said, you'll be entered into win a $150 gift card. CyberFox, who's coming up shortly, will be giving away a $100 Amazon gift card. And Crew who will close out our final event, will be giving away 20% off of their annual subscription plan.
Yep. So we usually pretty much every engage, we talk a little bit about some events we're going to be at, just that way, if you're an MSP and you're at some of these events, you can see us. And I think, Caitlin, we're going to talk about the dinners a little bit later, so we'll kind of hold off on that. I was just in Toronto, and man, the MSPs just show out like crazy. I think there was like 200 MSPs at the event that we went to. That was a local event in Toronto. And next week you're going to be in LA, correct?
Yeah.
For a local event. I know you're going to do a hosted dinner, which we'll talk about in a bit. And then we'll be at the 7-figure event in Louisville, 7-figure MSP. And then Robin's boot camp is probably the biggest one coming up, like in terms of
we
size.
should not forget channel partners, though. At the end of the month, I will also be in Las Vegas with Tatum for the small MSP event that happens before that larger event. So there's some actually really great content. I looked at the agenda. That event has put together some great keynotes, breakouts, and panels on how MSPs can take advantage of their vendors to help build their businesses. So definitely an event to check out. I know they're really trying to grow that one.
Yeah. And then, like I said, a lot of us will be at the Robin's boot camp, which is one of the biggest, probably top 5 in terms of size events of the year. And always, I'd say it's one of my favorites to go to. It's brutal for us vendors, I will say, because it's like 7 a.m. to like, I think they lowered the evening, but some nights it was like 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah.
I think it's a little less this year, but always good fun to be there. And there's a lot of emerging events.
Great event. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the theme this year.
Yeah, absolutely. What is it? Willy Wonka, right? Yep.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah. So if you have not been to a Robin's event, definitely one to check out for sure. She always puts on such a great show.
Yeah. And I did shoot an unboxing video because I got a special package from them. And I would say I was the first to do the unboxing video on social. And now you're going to see them all over the place because I think they're asking a lot of people to do it.
Did you open the chocolate bar yet?
No, because I haven't been back to Austin yet. I'm in DC right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I look forward to. I imagine there's probably a vendor's got to have a golden ticket of some kind.
Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, but I will probably shoot a version 2 for that. But all right, let's keep it rolling.
All right. So our next presenter is James here at Acronis. So James, take it away.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is James Romley. I'm a solutions engineer here at Acronis, and want to talk to you about more than a few things, right? So, death by PowerPoint incoming. Apologize up front. I'll be your Cyberbeard host for today. So, why Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud? Why Acronis at all? Right. So, the first thing that we need to talk about and understand is the native integration, right? So there's words that are bantied about in IT and in the MSP space. Integrations are lovely when they work to their fullest extent. What we propose at Acronis is a power of one, a single pane of glass, to have natively integrated tools that do far and away what disparate tools via API call could ever do in a normal integrated space. So the first thing that we want to do and understand is this is built for MSPs, right, for IT departments. So we have both an OT use case, a corporate use case, and one built for MSPs. So we live in every single vertical that is imaginable. So if you have any of those clients that live in those, you'll be able to manage them accordingly, right? Air gapping to full cloud-to-cloud connectivity and suite. You can see from the bottom there, we boast a lot of different tools, and we'll touch at a high level a lot of these. But the first thing that we need to understand is that native integration, again, is where those tools can breathe fully, right? Rather than, to take the tool analogy we saw earlier, right? To have that malleability where they can live and work together in a way that makes sense and is efficient. So again, we are purpose-built for MSP in this cloud solution that I'm dealing with today. And everything we do security-wise is strictly adherent to the NIST framework. You can see across this slide, I know there's a lot of data, and of course, the breakout session, we can get into any of the nitty-gritty or look back through some of these slides if you want to. But the reality is we have so many different facets and functions within Cyber Protect Cloud. We cover the NIST framework in ad nauseum, right? There's not a portion that we don't cover in a various ways. So, what is typical, even AVAM and ransomware AI heuristics definition banks? Sure, sounds great, sounds lovely. What is the reality of cyber insurance and cybersecurity? Is EDR, MDR, or XDR? Again, acronym SOUP. It's the industry that we live in. We will have to embrace that fully. The reality is that we make deployment and management easy, efficient, and secure. So our tooling it supersedes the need for a SOC, right? You can become a MSSP without having to hire expensive MSSP technicians, right? We make this very human readable through our AI tools that we've ingested and through our actual UX UI, which oftentimes is considered to be somewhat simplicity at its finest. So it is harmony by not kludge. We can see here again across the scope, we are covering PSA, RMM, SaaS security, detection and response, disaster recovery, and backups. Yes, Acronis, a backups vendor. What a shock, right? So I was actually drawn to Acronis from the MSP space where I lived for over a decade because of a trade show, right? The trade show drew me in because what they were proposing 6 years ago to enter into the security space, because I managed a very large SOC with 293 clients within said SOC. So what they proposed to do and what is now a reality for Acronis, right? So now we are living the vision that I saw years ago. So now we have that full suite of tools at your disposal and at a high level. So again, I talked about integration, right? Integration can again be somewhat of a dirty word, right? Let's talk that yes, we need integration. Yes, Acronis wants to be a single pane of glass. That is a reality, right? We have been pioneering that for years. The real end all is going to be the native integration. So when we're talking about the depth of integration, right, the power of one, a singular agent that manages every facet and every function because it is housed within itself. So DLP, EDR, backups, RMM, PSA, all within a singular agent to harden, update, and manage. So the power of one cannot be overstated in how you are able to manage a vast number of workloads across all the verticals and all the different partnerships that you may make, again, whether it's OT, whether it's SMB, mid-market, or enterprise level clientele. Again, bit of word salad here, but just to show you, that we boast all of this native integration in a way that is not only innovative, but also complete, right? So we are able to take into security and into backups and DR a singularly powered device. So some of the things that we just want to cover at a high level, and again, the breakout session will be as in-depth and fireside as you would like. The reality is we have advanced functionalities that go far beyond most vendors can ever hope to do. First thing we can handle, a quick note for advanced backup for a CDP, so a instant remediation tool for data coherency with near zero RPO. So if there's a change of data, we write it via CDP, you can restore 30 seconds ago rather than yesterday's incremental. Safe recovery. So a first portion in AVAM and ransomware that because of native integration talks to your backups. So we are able to see and scan all of your backups in the cloud to make sure we're covering clean and contiguous data. EDR, MDR, XDR. So again, the word salad that is security and what is really going to be cyber insurance compliant by the end of 2025 and moving forward. So by doing this and by having a tool that can do all of these factors already, when we're talking about EDR, you have the capability to protect all of your endpoints from a single EDR alarm, right? So you have global policying. If you see something you want to block, you can block it across all of your protection plans. In adherence within this framework as well, we have XDR. So with that, we have identity protection, mail protection, and network protection, right? So we are able to see and review and threat hunt across devices, across organization. Advanced management, or what we call Acronis RMM. So the first thing, the first thing that we want to talk about is the fact that we are able to manage those devices in every facet of RMM, data loss prevention, advanced backup, email security, and then coming out later this year, we're going to have a Microsoft 365, what we call Ultimate Protection. The final name of that obviously is up for debate. The reality is it's going to have posture management. And we can do this across all of the workload types that are in the infrastructure that you manage today. And I also want to give a shout out to our MSP Academy. They do lots of great work, both in communities and then also as far as training MSPs and having webinars and having breakout sessions with them. Thank you.
All right, thanks, James.
Flew right through that one.
Yeah, there's a lot. Oh, also the Yakushima, the bamboo forest. I think I pinged you on that. It took my breath away. It was absolutely gorgeous in Japan.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks, James. Have a good one. All right, so polls will be going up. All right, so Caitlin, I know we're gonna do a little look back, and I have some stats that I haven't even shared with you about Engage. but I think you're going to also talk about channel meetings as well.
Well, why don't I talk about channel meetings after your stats? Because it's kind of
Okay.
like the next phase of everything.
Sure. So, I just kind of went back and looked at some overall stats. Not scientific. Not every number is like 100% accurate, but I tried to get as close as I could, just pulling some information. So I think we've basically done about 36 of these over the last few years, actual pitch events, typically doing mostly once a month. In terms of actual pitches that have been given, equating to 216 different vendor pitches. The amount of vendors, because we've had vendors participate, multiple times, is about 150 or so. We've launched over 1,300 polls, so lots of polls. And in terms of poll questions being answered, 8,000 poll questions over the years. And the highest attendance we had, and it's funny, over like probably the last year and a half, we generally have between 50 and 80, it just depending on the month. But you have to, for everybody, you have to go back. Is when we launched this, it was like during COVID, when everybody was still attending everything virtual. And our first one was actually our highest attended, and it was 415 people. And I just like remember the moment when we had that, we just like thought we figured it out. Like on day one, we were just like, this is it. Like we figured it out. Like 415
This is
people.
what the people want.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that they did want, but not, but just obviously during COVID, totally different time. And nowadays it's not easy to get any audience to attend virtual things. So lots changed, but we have maintained a really consistent audience over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And, so.
I think too, just to add to that, because I used to segment all the poll questions after the event, a lot of repeat people. There's been a few people that I don't think have missed very many engagements over the last 3 years. So to them, we appreciate their loyalty for sure. And everybody that made time every month to come and check out these vendors, we appreciate. We wouldn't have been able to do it without the audience for sure.
Yep. So do you want to do channel meetings now, or you want to wait for another segment?
Let's quickly do it. So
okay.
As most people know, we do host these small, intimate focus groups quite regularly now, as our vendors have started to pick up this initiative. So we do offer the incentive of a gift card. I think Claudia is probably going to drop the channel meetings poll questions into the chat. Right. Perfect. Yep. So just fill out that form and you'll go into a pool of MSPs. If you fit the criteria of a vendor that would like to get in front of you, I will reach out and you'll have the opportunity to attend that meeting and participate in a small focus group type environment.
You didn't tell them the incentive.
$100. Sorry. We are giving away $100 for your participation. We do ask that cameras on and that you engage with the vendor, but there's been some amazing conversations that have come out of these meetings. We try and keep them not sales pitches, much like pitch, but very much getting MSP feedback on how they can market better, how their solutions can help their businesses grow, or those types of conversations. So I definitely encourage everybody on this call today to fill out that form and start participating in those. I think we have like 12 to 15 I'm planning before the end of July.
Well, and there's one that's coming up, I think, in a couple of weeks, where it's a vendor who's getting into this space, or is actually trying to decide if they can get into the space. So that's probably one of the cooler ones I've seen, because that's 100% focus group. They're trying to figure out from MSPs if they have a viable solution. So it's really cool.
And that meeting actually filled up in probably 2 hours. It's completely sold out now, but and we are going to be eating our own dog food in the sense too. So we are hosting our own channel meetings, and that announcement that's coming out next week, we'll be doing some of our own channel meetings. So if you want to influence the future of channel program, that's definitely one to keep an eye on for as well.
Yep. All right. I think we're down to our final two. So
how bittersweet. So we're going to bring Mark up here. Mark Sokol, the VP of Marketing at CyberFox. Oh, and you're bringing the bucket hat. I love it.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I'll let you take it away, Mark. Your time starts now.
All right, great. Well, thanks, guys. So we've got a QR code here just to share that. You'll see that a few more times. Get a $100 gift card. We're going to talk today about our approach related to simple, proactive cybersecurity. there's so many things. We've been seeing it today in your tech stack and all the different things that you can do ultimately. But ultimately, it really comes down to you need a certain level of security, and you need to work with people, and you need to have your people, your end users, your customers, right? You need them to be able to feel that they're secure, but they're also able to do their job. So that's kind of where we talk about it's the best of both worlds. That's what we do at CyberFox here. Just kind of going back in time on this concept of privilege. Microsoft had in the Windows Security Resource Kit, they talked about that, hey, listen, if you have too many privileges, you can be compromised. An attacker can actually go throughout your organization by leveraging that one account, right? Well, it's 2025. And that they actually talked about that 30 years ago at this point in time. Interestingly, yeah, if there was a picture of me, I would probably look like Jay Leno probably at this point. So, but anyway, 1995, so 30 years. And they continued to talk about that over the years. Basically, least privilege, yet they're finding organizations rarely follow it. Well, that was in 1999. So again, just a little under 30 years now, but they were talking about that. We're still talking about that today. We're still finding organizations, you're finding your customers that still have privileged access, privileged accounts, and there's a variety of reasons for them. But the reality is really need to ultimately remove them. What's happening as a result is in this survey here, it talked about that, asked 5,400 IT professionals, said, hey, have you had a ransomware attack? Yeah, almost 80% of them, right? Almost 75% of them actually are seeing an increase. And these numbers continue to go up. And then as a result, there has been that level of their customers and or the end users themselves, right? They're actually getting their data encrypted. And then what's happening? Basically, people are losing money. They're losing their business. They're losing your customers. And in some cases, MSPs are losing their clients as well, because these are happening more frequently. And in a lot of cases, there's a reluctance at times to put in the proper security measures in place here. And surprisingly here, about 1/3 we're actually just relying on email security in the form of blocking phishing attacks and things like that. So those companies actually paid the ransom. So 35% actually paid the ransom. There's about 60% got some form of their data back. But the reality is the majority, they actually just restore their data. So 18% paid the ransom and actually didn't even get any data back. So things aren't good out there, right? And then if you do, whether you pay the ransom, whether you're going with the backup, you're losing about 16 days of business. It takes 16 days to get kind of back up and running. And that's from that survey that's saying, hey, actually, how long did it take you? So if you have, we can round that up. We can say if I have a $5 million business and I'm constantly selling that to get that $5 million business, and that's one of your customers, let's say, right? Ultimately, that's several $100,000 potentially of revenue, new revenue that they're losing, not to mention the downtime and all the other things that happen. And maybe they just lose customers altogether. So recently, Microsoft's been talking about it here. We invariably find excessive numbers of accounts. That was just within the last couple of years. Too many accounts are compromised. Yeah. And then what's happening? So it's kind of out of control. So there was some recent news over the last year, MSP clients' credentials, MSP client ransom. In that case, the MSP was actually in a lawsuit with their customers. Locally here, I'm in Florida. We actually had a whole county that went offline for about a month or so, went back to pen and paper, and had to work with their customers, their citizens. And of course, multiple hotels now in Omni last year and MGM the year before are hit. So we're saying that ultimately cybersecurity is this journey, right? But we like to talk about more of a straight line in cybersecurity, because 90% of these breaches ultimately here are because of privilege. And then as a result, using different techniques, they get your password. So it's that combination that's really bad. So when we talk about that, we want to be proactive in cybersecurity. So we look at this very simply. If you do some of these very simple approaches on the outside of this This is the kind of the proactive, the left of boom, so to speak. If you lower your admins, if you're maintaining passwords properly, that's one aspect of making sure that all these other reactive approaches are actually very much more expensive and resource intensive. And then blocking, what we actually do is we block living off the land attacks, which allows, because basically living off the land is your end. Microsoft, the bad guys are leveraging Microsoft's own tools. Cyber insurance, they're constantly asking about it. All the CIS controls that are out there, they're talking about it. They're telling you these are the best practices, right? So at CyberFox, we have two solutions. We have CyberFox Auto Elevate. That makes sure that you can reduce everybody on their admin rights. You can allow them to do however, also allow them to do their work. But in addition to that, you'll have technicians that need admin rights. So instead of that extra account that's sitting on all their devices, you can have the ability with our solution to allow them to log in passwordless and get those same admin rights that they need to do the work for your customer. And then, of course, CyberFox and our Password Boss, we have the ability to maintain encrypted 100%. Everything's encrypted within our application, and it's built for MSPs to provide that not only for you as an MSP, but your customers' password support. So I have to end it here that just like Oprah, she was giving away maybe admin accounts, but back in the day, giving away cars and then everybody owed taxes. We can't have that. So don't give away your admin accounts. Make sure everybody's on least privilege, and we give you an easy way to get there. So, and that is my spiel.
Thank you so much, Mark.
All right.
I love that meme.
Yep.
It's one of my favorites.
All right. Polls should be going up. And all right. So channel, or what are we talking about? The dinners.
Yes. The channel table dinner series.
Yeah. It's been a long week. I've literally been in Austin, Chicago, Toronto, and DC all this week. So yeah. Do you want to talk? I mean, you want to give the overview and then.
Yeah. So we have found here at Channel Program personally that a lot of like those more intimate settings have been working for us to have the conversations to really drive business with the MSPs in the community. So Matt came up with the idea of possibly partnering with a few vendors to host 12 to 15 MSPs in various cities across the US and a few in Canada to have dinner, mostly at steakhouses as per Matt's request, and get the opportunity to get in front of a few solutions in a more intimate setting, ours included. So I have not personally been to any yet. I'm attending my first one in LA next week. But Matt, you've said that they've been quite successful. I think you've attended 7 now?
Yeah, weren't you in the Chicago one with me?
Oh my gosh, I was in the Chicago one with you. I'm sorry.
That was this week, by the way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I was in the Chicago one. That was one of our most successful dinners to date. Maybe I just got caught up in the excitement.
Yeah. Well, and I should say, the way we've designed it is, it's a lot of networking with your peers, and everybody's just been coming with a really open mind and sharing different things. We do some report. We open things up with kind of I don't know if I call it the state of the channel necessarily, because it's not that. It's not everything. It's actually really focused more on the stack, because we have incredible data that we've got and all anonymized, but like really just kind of playing out what it looks like to have in your stack. What's the core stack? What's the extended stack? The operational stack.
I mean, that is kind of the state of the MSP.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is, but I guess I'm thinking like more. It's not like Jay McBain state of the channel. It's a little closer to MSPs, but they've been great. We've gotten incredible feedback from the MSPs as far as just. I mean, maybe if somebody had a bad time, they wouldn't tell me, but it seems like everybody's had an amazing time. It's great food. It's all you can drink, beer and wine, which I don't think anybody will complain about. And
the food is great. I was officially introduced to the largest steak that I've ever seen at the dinner in Chicago.
At Morton's. Yeah. So just for context, normally we don't have the strip. Usually it's a fillet option, but they had a 16-ounce New York strip, and typically you would expect it to have fat, but there was zero fat. It was a pound of steak. So
I couldn't do it personally. But yeah, they've been great success. Definitely check out our events page. No, they're not on the events page. So keep an eye on your inbox, because I think we are personally inviting people from the areas that we will be to.
Yeah. Well, let me just run off a couple. I'll just say where we're coming over the next couple months. We're going to be in Anaheim, Boston, Charlotte, Raleigh, Columbus, Tampa, Kansas City, St. Louis, Philly, and Indianapolis, DC, Detroit, Phoenix, Salt Lake City. So those are the next kind of rounds. So if you're in any of those, reach out to us, let us know, and you'll be getting the invites. So all right.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm going to present our last Engage event presenter ever is George Alvarez, the Partner Acquisition Manager at Crewhoo. So I will let you take it from here.
Thank you for the warm introduction, Caitlin. As Caitlin mentioned, my name is George Alvarez. I'm a sales manager here at Crewhoo. My goal for today is tell you, 1, a little bit about Crewhoo, 2, tell you why you should care about Crewhoo, and 3, hopefully give you some golden nuggets, regardless whether you even look at our product, that you could take to your business and improve it. So first, our story, to get to the point of why you should even care about Crewhoo, I'd like to share our story. We originally started with ice cream. Our CEO now and leader, Steven Spiegel, originally started his journey as an entrepreneur by purchasing, and you guys may know this, Cold Stone Creameries. With those Cold Stone Creameries, he was successful. He brought them down to Florida, and they started growing. Now, as any entrepreneur, he ran into some issues. As he was growing his businesses, he started getting a lot of employee churn. He started seeing his gross sales go down. And he was just frustrated. He was constantly having these issues. Every time he got a phone call, it was another time where an employee was leaving. So he essentially implemented Crewhoo for his own business. He realized when he was going in that he was only getting one piece of feedback a week. He realized that his managers were coming to their employees only when they had problems. So he developed Crewhoo within his organization and ended up being the top grossing Cold Stone Creameries in an entire country. Now, what does ice cream have to do with MSPs? Well, when he found this solution, he tried to sell it to other Cold Stone franchises. Well, the franchises did not want to buy it. They just didn't want to buy it. They did not value having awesome customer experience. However, one day he had one person buy his product, and then another 5 of them purchased right after. And what happened is that his product was added as a best idea in the True Peer group, which you guys may be aware of. And it was voted as the best idea, and people started purchasing the product. So because of that, he actually got together with Gary Pika and went to the first Sniz Fest, and I believe this is in 2015. And that's where we started to help MSPs create a badass customer experience 100% of the time. Now, everyone wants to deliver a badass customer experience 100% of the time, but customer experience programs often fail. Why do they fail? Well, the number one reason is execution. We do not put something in place for gathering feedback. The second reason is companies focus on their score. I constantly hear that aside from people not having a system in place to capture feedback or any process whatsoever, constantly hear MSPs bragging about how high their customer satisfaction score is. And they're at 97%, 98%. But what's more important is how much feedback are you actually getting? We need companies and MSPs should be focusing on quantity. That's the real measure of how customers perceive you, how sticky are they, and how bought in they are into your processes. And of course, most companies do want lots of feedback, but they have no plan to process the feedback. And I'm not just talking about negative feedback. I'm not referring to just what to do with negative feedback, how can we improve, what are the things that our customers are not saying about us directly, but also the positive feedback. Do we have a process to move positive feedback into Google reviews or other social opportunities? Lastly, companies have to get their team engaged. As I mentioned with the Cold Stone Creamery example, we need to be rewarding and engaging our team. So we put together 3 easy steps. 1, ask, make it easy, and engage your team. For the Crew example, we asked after every transaction, and this could be for the Cold Stone Creamery commercial, we asked after every transaction within 5 minutes, very easily, how was their feedback? And we also engaged their crew by celebrating the wins daily. We used a crew who we were able to easily put feedback into your CSAT, into your ticketing process that does not bother your customers. So you can capture feedback. Again, the keyword is easy. It's a one-click survey. People could go ahead and capture the data. In addition to that, people could give you additional tags. They could give you additional data on what they feel about you above, whether it's just happy or negative. This gives us a lot more actionable feedback. If we had two companies compare, one having the same number of surveys with no tags, other one with tags, that would be 336% more feedback and more opportunities to grow. Engage. We want to engage our team, and there's 3 ways that we could do this very simply. The first one is we want to trigger rewards. Second one is contests, and the third one is badges, celebrate daily wins. So the first one, trigger rewards, whenever there's positive feedback, we could send the positive feedback to your Teams channel, Slack channel, or communication channel. So your team that just gets rewarded with points where they could buy with prizes, but they also celebrate the wins, and you could start increasing that bank account of recognition for your employees. That relationship. Second, the contest. This is a Google review contest, but we could bring in contests such metrics such as who has the highest resolution, who has the best resolution time, who has the most tickets completed, who has the best documentation, and create incentives and make your workplace fun. We also can create core values and ways to recognize your employees. Again, we want to celebrate the good stuff and only come to them occasionally when there's something bad. And we could use these points to buy some prizes in our prize store to reward our team. So the main goal is to celebrate the small wins daily. So nuggets you guys should be receiving are, we want more feedback, we want actionable feedback, and we want an engaged team. If you do this, you could be like Brent Yaks, which he got $700,000 in revenue in a single year simply by capturing which of his customers are happy and which customers or opportunities to ask for referrals and creating raving fans. Or Neil Jern, which used us in order to differentiate himself inside the market and used us in his presentations to acquire new clients. I wouldn't be a sales manager if I didn't put a shameless plug in. So here's 20% off. If you're able to join our room or sign up for a demo here, we'll give you 20% off and free onboarding.
Excellent. Thanks, Jorge, and sorry for the extra bell there.
I was wondering what that was. I just kept hearing ringing. I wasn't sure if I was over.
It was a 1 minute. You did it. You actually, and then you did it perfectly. So thank you.
Perfect.
All right, so the polls will be going up for that, and then right after that, the poll for Crew, there will also be an awards poll, which is really just a singular poll. It's essentially a vote for who you thought gave the best pitch or presentation, however you want to refer to it. Caitlin, you are on mute, just FYI. But I do think it's kind of apropos that Cyberfox and Crew, both were the last two, both have been involved in the platform in a variety of capacities, dating back to pretty much the beginning, and both have a lot of really positive reviews in the platform. So you can definitely go check out those reviews. So
yeah. Well, it's like the end of an era is come.
Yeah, and it's, it's too bad Kevin wasn't able to join today. He's got a hockey game. Well, his son has a hockey match in Columbus, Ohio, that's happening right now. So he wasn't able to join us on the farewell Engage event. But as I've said, I don't want to make it incredibly clear, channel program is still doing things. We're just sunsetting Engage.
Just shifting the way we bring new vendors to MSPs.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as a reminder, our platform, 95% of it is still completely free to MSPs to visualize, manage, and evaluate your technology stacks. We have almost 8,000 users now on the platform. We've had over 2,200 MSPs build out their Navistack tool, which is the visualization tool, and it really starts to customize your experience, where you're able to get a customized industry calendar just based on your product stack. unlock enablement portals so that if you're using Crewwho or you're using Cyberfox, you can get a lot of the enablement materials in one place. So we're continuing to do that. We continue to have the most comprehensive industry calendar that exists in the space, going down all the way to the webinar level.
Yeah.
And
just touching on the partner portal aspect, Channel Command, every single person that presented here today does have a partner portal within Channel Command. Kaseya specifically, they did talk about 365 and how they are centralizing everything in that, but their partner portal specifically has documentation on how you can take advantage of that if you're a Kaseya partner. So anytime you do add a vendor partner of ours to your Navistack, it does unlock those portals. So keep in mind that one-to-many relationship is really great. You just have to log into Channel Program and you have access to all your enablement documents in one spot.
Yep. All right. So I think the Crewwho poll is down. Awards
Okay.
poll is going up, which I know is not going to take very long.
Nope.
Just trying to think about any other housekeeping. As we talked about earlier, $15 gift cards for product reviews continues to be a thing.
Yep.
Let your team
25
know it.
if you're a ConnectWise user.
Yeah, ConnectWise is doing a promotion right now. Yeah.
Just really quickly, can I just run through the incentives of the few
Yeah,
vendors?
let's go.
Breakouts? Yeah, so ConnectWise is giving 4 lucky people in their breakout rooms $25 gift cards to Starbucks. Enable will be entering everyone that enters their breakout room into a draw for a chance to win a $150 gift card. Cyberfox is giving away a $100 Amazon gift card. That will be sent to a random attendee of their choosing. So definitely log in there if you have the opportunity. And Crewwho is giving 20% off of their annual subscription plan.
Yeah. And I did see somebody just registered from the show for our Raleigh event.
Nice.
For our dinner. At the end, if you want to put, what I would say, major or semi-major city that you live nearby, and if we happen to have a dinner that's going to be there, we can send you the link for the dinner in advance if we've
That's
got
a great
the landing
idea.
page set up. So you can go ahead and put that in the chat. So again, just as a reminder, what's going to happen? We're going to say our final goodbye, and the screen will change. You're going to see a bunch of different logos on your screen, and you can go into multiple what do you call them? Multiple
breakout rooms. So it will pop up a separate screen. You can come back to this screen at any time and pop into a different breakout room if you'd like. But like we said, we do encourage you visiting as many vendors as you can. Part of the benefit of them participating in Engage is getting to engage with you after the fact. So take advantage. This is the last opportunity to do that in this environment.
Yeah, and for some of the older folks, I'm going to sign off with some famous quotes here, and we'll just end it there. And so good night and good luck, and that's the way it is. Thank you all.
Bye, everybody.